Hi, this is Lorenzo, Rubik's Cube Wizard. Anyways, we're here today because I finally received my order from Bow Hunters International, and what we've ordered is the Sabo Sight 2nd generation from Tachtical Archery Systems. There's not much that I've seen on YouTube about this particular sight, so I thought I'd create a video about it. Hopefully it'll give you all an idea of what it can do. There it is. It's this away. It's the 2nd generation. This is the one that came with 4 pins. Okay, and the way that it's been marketed out there, even on YouTube and on the web, is that you could use this without a peep sight. It's got, being the 2nd generation, it's got the 4 red dots that's in there. Let's open it up and see what to do. Let's see what we have. Packaging is pretty light. It's, you know, normal packaging. There's pieces of plastic, and there's not much here from an instructions manual standpoint. This sight's one piece, as you can see. It looks pretty simple enough. I'm going to set that down. And on the packaging itself, there's the installation direction. So let's inspect this particular sight. This is how it looks like. It's got the lens itself, that's amber. You can see that. There's a triangle and the vertical line that where you would line up all the red dots. Here's the fiber optic that runs through the length of this shaft here. That's where the light is being gathered for the red dots. If I'm not mistaken, that's a place where you would put the rheostat light, because that's threaded. So I gotta figure out what size light to put in there if I need it. And this is the back of the sight itself. Okay, these are where you would adjust the actual red dots. There would be equivalent to your pins on a traditional sight right there. There's the other 2 on the other side, right there, right there. Windage and elevation, well, there's nothing much to it. There's a hex bolt right there. Another one over here. First thing we got to do, of course, is take the quiver off. Set that aside, and this is gonna have, of course, the screws here with the hex bolts. We gotta take that out. So make sure I get the right. So I managed to install the Taz Sabo Sight on my bow, and started to sight it in. Although, you know, this isn't the ideal situation because I don't have 20 yards and I'm shooting in the garage right now. But I wanted to step through a little bit about in terms of the first step that you should be doing when you're sighting this bow in. According to the instructions, okay, in the sight itself, you look at it closely, you'll see that the green triangle right there. Okay, that green triangle right there. That tip has something to do with the first time that you're going to sight this in. And what you're going to do is you're going to place that tip at the bullseye of what you are shooting at the time. Keeping in mind, of course, you know, maintain your form with a good anchor consistently. And as you begin to shoot, just like how you're sighting a regular sight in, you're going to adjust the windage and the elevation, both of which have individual hex bolts on this particular sight. Now, The elevation bolt is on the side right here. That's the X bolt right there. Okay, and the windage is on top right there. Okay, and what you're going to need to do obviously is when you take your shots with the arrow, you're going to follow the arrow in terms of your grouping. Well, I've done that. I've been doing that in the last, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. I'm having a lot of fun here in the garage. And there's my sight. There's my target back there. And you're going to see that I'm pretty well sighted in at this very short distance. I got about, I would say, about 10 yards here in the garage. So here's the foam block that I shot, that I sighted in. I shot about, I don't know, three arrows each, as much as I can actually, but there's 4 you'll see there. I put little stickers on the block so that I could spread my arrows around, being careful not to Robin Hood anyone. I'd hate to lose any arrows, and it's really easy to Robin Hood at 10 yards. So anyways, I placed stickers around. As you can see, I think I'm pretty much sighted in. I know there's some movement. See what placement of the arrows here, right there. There's movement of the arrows, not as consistent as you want it, but really that's really because I was probably flinching a little bit, getting tired as I continue to shoot here. But I'm pretty much satisfied with that for now. And that takes me through the first step. Okay, and step 2 is working on that first dot. And what you're going to do is you're going to make the adjustments not here anymore in the front, but in the back of the sight. Okay, and what you're going to do, according to instructions, you're going to take the first red dot, which could be at 20 yards or 10 yards. In this case, it's at 10 yards. And you're just going to put that red dot at the tip of that triangle. Okay, and where you make your adjustments, before you make any adjustments, at the rear of the sight, okay, this is the top. There's 2 hex bolts right here. All you got to do is loosen this up. It doesn't take very long, but you loosen this up. And then you're going to pull and go full draw, and you're going to look through the sight with proper form, proper anchor, and you're going to see if you're going to see that the actual red dot. Okay, and wherever that red dot is, okay, if it's to the right, you're actually going to bring the whole housing to the left. So now it's opposite what you would usually do on a typical sight. Again, this is when we're moving the dots, okay? So you loosen up these 2 right here, and then on the side, there's this hex bolt right over here. And this hex bolt right there is what moves the whole housing, this whole housing, left and right, okay? All you got to do is turn, and it'll move the whole thing left and right. There is a lock nut right here. You don't need to worry about that at all. Okay, that's really just to hold the whole housing together. Again, you loosen the 2 hex bolts on top, and then you sight in. You see where that red dot is. If it's to the left, you move the housing to the right, and if the red dot's to the right of the triangle, you move this to the left. Okay. The whole point is get that first dot at the tip of that triangle. Once you do that at your first yardage, okay, you're basically lined up and you're sighted in with proper form and proper anchor. All right. So I'm going to show you what I've done here in the last 10 to 15 minutes as making adjustments. I know this is only 10 yards, but I'm going to show you the actual results because I haven't had this much confidence from using a sight in terms of placing my actual shots within the bullseye. I'll show you here in a sec. There are 11 arrows in here, and I've done this at about 10 yard range. What I've done is I was able to actually place the arrows where I want it within that 10 yards, right? I didn't want to do any Robin Hoods tonight because I did that the last time, and every time I do that, I think, oh my gosh, that goes another $8 to $12, right? But if you look at the grouping on this, it's all within that bullseye. And I actually followed, I landed the first arrow here, and I didn't want to land in the same place. I moved it just a little bit and a little bit at a time. I want you to see, I was shooting most of these arrows when I was standing up. And when I was starting to run out of room from the angle of which I was aiming, I actually shot the last 4 or 5 arrows at the bottom here while I was kneeling down. And they landed where I pointed that red dot and that tip of the triangle. So I'm pretty happy with the purchase so far. I've only been able to do this at 10 yards, but I'm going to do this again at the actual range of 20, and I'm going to sight the rest of the pins, most likely at 40, then at 60, and eventually at 80 yards. But if the results I get in here will match the results I'm going to get at the range, it'll be a good day out in the field.